Hey, everybody. It's Lacey, your Las Vegas gal. I'm coming to you live alone today. This is a bit unusual. We typically have my amazing friend and one of the top 200 lenders in the nation, Miss Amber Coleman, is typically online with me today. We had a last minute conflict, so you just get me today, but I think we'll be okay. Before I get started, I wanted to just talk to you guys a little bit about why we do these live streams. We definitely like to make sure that we're available on the phone and via text and via email, but sometimes people are afraid to reach out and they don't want to ask their questions directly. So we do these live streams to give you guys an opportunity to engage with us, interact with us, ask us questions so that you can kind of break down the walls of fear and start the process of learning and maybe getting closer to buying a home. So these are for you. These live streams are absolutely 100% for you, for your education. I definitely have a good time with it. So I'm not going to lie. They're definitely a little bit for me too. But if you're watching today, please don't make me stand here alone. Drop it like it's hot in the comment box below. Let me know that you're here. Let me know if you have any questions. I definitely want to chat with you guys. I don't want to spend this whole time by myself. And sweet Amber, I think, might be joining us as well online. So drop it like it's hot. Say hi to me. But today we're going to be talking about 5 lies that are likely preventing you from buying a house. And I think I even put more than 5 items in the list because, boy, you guys sure do come up with a lot of excuses and a lot of things that maybe are in your brain that aren't quite true. So I'm going to run through those here in just a second. I'm going to pop over to the comments box and say, hey, hi, John, good to see you. Hey, Sammy, good to see you. Amber's going to possibly be joining us in the comments, but she's not going to be live today with me. We had a last minute conflict, so you just get me. So I don't know. I don't think that's a pretty good deal, actually. I think I'm pretty good prize for the winning. So anyway, so we're going to talk a little bit about 5 lies that are probably preventing you from buying a house. A lot of people are really, listening to, there's with content growing and there's so many content creators out there and everybody has a different opinion. A lot of people have a tendency to get overwhelmed, and it's analysis by paralysis or analysis paralysis, where you're constantly hearing everybody's different opinion, and then you're just stuck. You can't decide what to do. You can't decide who's right and who's wrong. So I like to work with someone like Amber Coleman, who's been doing this. She's going to kill me for saying this, but who's been doing this for over 20 years. She's absolutely one of the best in the business for a reason. She's earned her stripes tenfold. And so I've learned a lot from her. I've been doing this almost 8 years now, and I've really learned a lot myself, but having someone like Amber beside me and having her gut for the market and what's going to happen and what's right and what's wrong has really helped guide me and really create kind of a stronger sense of my feelings about what's happening in the world. So I know it's hard to decide who you're going to believe, but I'm a big believer in leaning into the people who feel like they could be your friend at the end of the day, leaning into the people who feel like they're speaking from the heart and who aren't trying to cram a sales pitch down your throat. I know that, I come off a little salesy sometimes when I remind you, by the way, right there, that phone number at the bottom of the screen is my cell phone. You're welcome to text me or call me anytime you want, and we can chat about what's going on. Text is usually the best, and then we can start up a conversation from there and set something up for discussion. But for me, I like to make sure that that that's not a sales pitch. That's just me letting you know that I'm available. I'm not going to lie. I think I do probably 15 to 20 calls per week that are people who are either never going to buy, they're not sure they're going to buy, or they're definitely not buying for at least 3 to 5 years, sometimes longer. And I have so much joy in those phone calls. And I actually really love that you guys trust me enough to reach out. So do not be afraid to reach out. Drop your comments in the box below if you're not quite ready to chat. But if you just want to run some questions by me or just want to get my take on your situation or even Amber's, text me at the number below. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. There's also always, in every single video that we do, there's always going to be a link in the description and a link in the comments box so that you, in the pinned comments, so you guys can reach out directly and we can set up a proper phone call. So I wanted to just say hi to everybody. Hey, Matt, good to see you. Hey, Richard. Hey, Kelly. Nice to see you guys. I'm going to hop over to my, my little notes here. I want to just start talking about 5 lies. It's probably going to be more than 5 lies that are likely keeping you or possibly preventing you from buying a house. The first one is that you guys, there's so many of you that are calling me saying, I still think prices are going to drop. I still think they're going to drop. I still think they're going to drop. I really wish I could tell you something differently. I would love prices to drop. I would love that for me as well. I would go and invest in 5 or 6 more houses and just have a good time with my portfolio, watching it grow over time. The reality of the situation is, in Las Vegas specifically, we are not seeing that happen at all. So I'm going to actually show you guys our oops, how do I do this? Add to stage. There we go. I'm going to show you the numbers for us for this last month. As you know, we do a lot of our research and we do a lot of data gathering and things like that. And we can only look in the rearview mirror when it comes to real estate. We don't have a future crystal ball. Although mine and Amber's crystal ball has been pretty on point for the last several years. But this one just basically talks about some of the things that really kind of confirm what I'm talking about, specifically here in Las Vegas. So when it comes to the median home price for Las Vegas right now, as of December, we are up 3.4%. Now we're up with the price, guys, for new listings. We're up. We're up on both new listings and the sold listings. We're up. And the reason we're up is because even with the interest rates being higher and people being on the fence and kind of waiting to buy, there are still that many people coming to Las Vegas. There are still people bidding each other out for certain homes, if the ones that hit the market that are absolutely stunning and that they want. So our median, the middle price, is gone up, and it has gone up 3.4% for new listings, 5.9% for sold listings. The thing that I want to focus on and show you guys is that the effective availability of single family units that are available, which means the houses that are available to buy. This doesn't include new homes, it's just resale. But the houses that are available to buy are down 38%. Let me say it again, 38.7%. So we're going to round that up. I do my simple math there, 39% down. So the less units there are available to buy, the harder it is going to be to stand by your man saying prices are going to drop. They're not going to drop. We have so much interest in Las Vegas. We have so many people who want to move here. So many people realizing what we have going on, not only from an entertainment and a sports and just a city infrastructure perspective, but also from a freaking lifestyle perspective. Look at how much stuff you can do and how amazing it is to live here. But beyond that, the taxes, the low property taxes, the no income tax, there's so many benefits that our city is set up for success. When it comes to condos and townhomes, let me just get rid of this thing so that we can look at that. Condos and townhomes, we're up again. We are up 9% when it comes to the sold units. We're at 270 right now for condos and townhomes. That's the middle price. And we're up to 7% to 289. And again, effective availability, we're down 31%, guys. So I just want to just kind of put it out there, make sure you guys know, if prices are going to drop is a lie that you keep telling yourself, or that you keep hearing said to you by your friends or your uncle who thinks he knows everything about real estate, or who was in the market at one time and he did this for a job. I need you to put on some earmuffs, and I need you to put on some blinders. I need you to text the phone number at the bottom of the screen, and let's set up a phone call and talk, because that lie doesn't stand at all. It's not going to work. Another one is going to be, Lacey, I just can't afford to buy a house. I freaking get it, especially with inflation. And I know that the consumer spending is at the highest it's ever been in the history of the world, from what I'm hearing on all the reports. I know we're struggling. I know that COVID did some things to us all. I know that COVID since then, and then inflation and all the changes that have happened since then, has tightened everyone's wallet just a little bit. So I know it can feel like you can't afford to buy a house. But let me just say this. We always need somewhere to live. If you can afford to rent, you can likely afford to buy. Now, there was a time a couple of years ago where renting and buying, the expense for renting and buying were pretty freaking close. And now, since we've seen interest rates on the rise, it's definitely put a little bit of a ding in that, and a difference, honestly, in between the two of those things, or two of those price points. But the reality still sits that over time, I believe that's going to even back out again. So why not get into a home so that you can actually be one of the people who are in the home, while other people are racing around trying to find a rental, trying to find something that they can afford, or outbidding other people to buy. The other thing I want to remind you guys too is that, there's a lot of free money programs, like a lot. Amber and I did a rapid fire thing, live stream a couple of weeks ago. We're going to be continuing to introduce new programs as they hit the market. There's free money. So if you think you can't afford it because of whatever, right, down payment or all these other things, or the payments are too high, whatever, there are ways to get around that, especially right now in this time frame that we're dealing with when it comes to the market. Now, I can't say that those things are going to be available or still a thing later this year. We don't know. Once the new money programs come out, they sometimes can run out of money. So as soon as they're gone until the next year and it's renewed. But all that being said, I just want to make sure you guys know that I can't afford to buy a home and prices are going to drop. Those two lies should come off, and you guys should really talk to me. Get connected with Amber through me so that she can really run the numbers and tell you what you think you can afford, or what you really can afford versus what you think you can afford. You might be actually quite surprised. Plus, free money programs. If you think you can't afford to buy a house, you may be in a situation where you might be able to actually afford more than you think, and you might be able to get some of those free money programs. I want to pop over to the comments and say hi to everybody. Hey guys, once again, just wanted to remind you, Amber had a last minute conflict come up, so she is not with us today. I'm hoping she jumps on. Hoping she does. Drop it like it's hot. Give me some questions to answer for you. I'm going to jump to those here in a few minutes. I normally do this with her, and it's a little strange being by myself. I'm feeling like a little bit lonely. So drop it like it's hot. Say hi to me. Hey, Nita, good to see you again. John, Matt, Richard said hi to everybody already. Please drop me some questions. I would love to answer anything. It doesn't have to be about real estate. Definitely want to make sure that we're using our time wisely. And I don't know, this is kind of fun. I don't know. I kind of like it more with Amber though, because we bounce off of each other, but maybe I'll do more of these by myself. This has been kind of fun so far. So if I can't afford to buy a home, is the lie that you're telling yourself? Why don't you let maybe Amber, who's the professional, who's been doing this for a long time. I almost said 100 years, but it's not that long. It's been doing this for a long time. Let's let her look at your situation and help you rearrange things. And if you can't afford to buy, she'll tell you, and then she'll tell you what you need to do to be able to afford to buy. And also free money programs. Don't forget about that. Another thing people like to say is, oh, my credit's horrible and I have bankruptcy issues and I'm just never going to be able to buy a house. We say this on this live stream all the time, every Wednesday, every Friday at noon. We talk about the fact that so many of you guys think you know even what your credit score is, and you don't. Now, I'm not saying you don't know what your consumer credit score is in terms of like, buying a car or maybe like getting a credit card. All of the Credit Karma and Experian, TransUnion, you can get your information on there. But the way Amber has explained to me and explained on this live stream many, many times that they run numbers are very, very different. Your credit score could look like it's a 540, but if Amber runs it through her system, because lenders use a different thing and a different process, she could actually say that you're actually almost 700. You just never know. It could also be the reverse too, but it's better to know from someone who's actually doing the job every day and knows the information. A lot of you guys have told me that you don't want to call Amber yet, also because you don't want her to run your credit. You don't want to ding your credit. It doesn't ding your credit until you want it to, until you're ready to actually proceed and buy a home. We absolutely can pull a soft pull on your credit and just take a look at your situation. She runs scenarios. She can look at if he pays this bill down, what happens to the credit score? If they pay this to this much, what happens? And a lot of you guys also seem to think that you need to pay off all your credit cards and then you'll be able to buy a house. That's not the case either. Actually, sometimes that can hurt your credit. Believe it or not. I think that's the silliest damn thing I've ever heard, but it can actually hurt your credit. So reach out to us. Let us talk to you about it. Let us help you understand the reality of the situation and what your buying a home, lending, mortgage type of credit score looks like versus what you think it is on Credit Karma. The other thing too is, man, Credit Karma and all those credit watching apps have a tendency to love to sell you products to try to help you fix your credit. I'm here to tell you that Amber will provide that information to you for free. There's no charge, there is no annoyance, and there is certainly no judgment. She and I both have had our own personal issues with credit, bankruptcies, things like that. Life happens. So we come from a place of understanding personally what that feels like, and we don't ever want you to be afraid to reach out. We also, aren't going to charge you. So please reach out and let us help you put not only a real program together for you and a game plan, but really to actually have the numbers. I think I'm probably going on 25, maybe 30 people that I can recall just off the top of my head that we've sold homes to in the last several years that called me saying, I've got to do this to my credit. I'm not ready to buy and I will pass it. There's probably more than that. Actually, there's probably at least 60 now that I think about it that I've passed on to Amber, and Amber's like, what do you mean you're not ready to buy? You're absolutely ready. Look at your credit score. Even if your credit score goes up from here, it's not going to get you a better rate. You're ready to buy a house. And then they've proceeded to buy a house. So I don't want you guys to miss out. I firmly believe that people who are buying right now, maybe through the end of, or mid-March, maybe through end of February or end of March, are going to be the people that all of us look to and go, shoot, I should have bought then too. Just like the people who were buying early COVID days when everybody got scared and ran for the hills, and those people who are stepping in saying, no, I'm going to go ahead and proceed and buy. Money's cheap, rates are cheap, everything's great. They now are absolutely in the equity pool that is a deep end, 6-foot pool, having a good old time with that money. So I don't want you to miss out. Now, if you're not going to be ready to buy or move for the next year, that's okay too. I think you should still reach out to us now and start talking about it, because it can take sometimes a year to get yourself situated and get yourself mentally prepared, and also the game plan prepared for what you want to do. If you're joining me right now, I just want to let you know, Amber Coleman had a last minute conflict, so she's not going to be joining us today unless she comes into the comments. I'm going to pop over and see if she's here. She's not there yet, but wanted to just let you guys know that you just get me today. So drop it like it's hot. Give me some comments and some questions. I would love to answer it over in the comments box. I want to remind you guys, I'm here for you. My number is right at the bottom of the screen. I really, really want to help you guys out. Back on the credit and bankruptcy issues stuff, I want to remind you too, we just did a really cool live stream. I guess it was maybe 2 weeks ago or something, that was talking about bankruptcy, maybe a month ago, talking about bankruptcy and what it really does and how it affects your credit, and talked about like what the real timeline is. I know I, for years and years, thought that if you filed bankruptcy, you had to wait 7 years to buy a house. Totally wrong. Oh my God, I don't want you to think that that's the truth either. So that's a complete lie as well. So please just let us know if you have bankruptcies that you're thinking about filing, or if you're thinking that a bankruptcy from the past. Oh, my nose is itchy today. Allergies, man. Welcome to Las Vegas if you haven't been here before. If you think that, something from the past is holding you back, you may not be in the situation that you think. Okay. The other thing I was going to say is, a lot of people are saying houses aren't affordable. Listen, I know better than anyone what it feels like to watch. I'm in it every day, and to not be able to buy. There's been situations in my life where I couldn't buy at the time that I really wanted to. I know better than anybody. So trust me when I tell you, watching the prices eke up definitely leaves you feeling a bit away. Definitely makes you feel like, oh man, I missed the boat. It's too late for me. Homes are still affordable here in Las Vegas. Not only are they affordable by comparison, if you look at like Southern California, Northern California, where many of our new transplants are coming from, 115 of you are coming here every single day, actually. New residents, 115 new residents per day. And a lot of them are coming from there. So a lot of people are coming from Florida, where our prices are pretty similar. A lot of people from Texas, a lot of people from the Northeast, Chicago, New York, all of that. And so by comparison, we're either at or well below what's going on in other parts of the community, or of the United States. The other thing I want to say is, what is affordable? Because if house prices are not affordable, then what do you think rent is going to do? If people who are buying homes to rent out to you are paying that higher price, that means the rent price is going to go up. So if rent's not affordable and houses aren't affordable, we're all going to end up homeless, right? That's not the goal. That's not what we want. So I want you guys to really take into account that if you're already paying rent, you can likely absolutely still afford to pay for the house, and they are still affordable. Don't get FOMO. Look forward, not backwards. Forwards, not backwards. Definitely understand that like prices are still affordable here in Las Vegas. And I'll be honest with you, I even got a little bit sucked into the thought that maybe prices were getting a little bit too outrageous. But I had someone call me yesterday. Actually, she might be on this live stream, maybe. She called me the other day and wants to spend. I've got someone who wants to spend 150,000, somebody that wants to spend 250 or 200 or less. And I, for a moment, thought, oh man, I've got to break the news. They're not going to be able to afford a house. And then I went to good old MLS, that very expensive system that I have to pay for as a realtor to be able to serve you and your needs. And I absolutely found many, many options for both of those clients to look at. So it's absolutely still affordable. You may not get the dream home that's $1 million mansion price, all of that, but there are condos available. There are townhomes available. There are single family homes available well under that median price point. So please don't assume, don't make an ass out of you and me. Don't assume. Let's just talk. Let's get the truth going. Okay. What else do we have here? Okay. A lot of people have told me, and some people that you may even follow on the internet, I've heard say, housing is not a good investment. This one's hard for me, right? Because I'm absolutely a realtor. This is what I do for a living. And I wholeheartedly believe that housing is an investment. But I pulled up just to pull myself out of that mindset and just let the internet tell me what it thinks. I went and pulled up an article from Forbes. Let me scooch over here and look at this. Is buying a house a good investment? This was last year, September 28th. Based on Forbes, they were saying, they asked 21 experts and 57% said yes, 5% said no, and 38 said, well, it depends. So I wanted to look at kind of what each of those people were saying, or each of those groups were saying, so that we could kind of break it down. So the first one that says absolutely yes. Again, that was a large percentage. Owning a home is how most Americans build wealth. A portion of every housing payment made by the homeowner is applied towards paying down the loan balance principal payment, which increases the equity of the home and helps with building their net worth. The other thing also, guys, is there's also ways to pay your home off much, much faster. If you're able to make it like one additional payment per year, you can actually take it from a 30-year to a 15-year, which then absolutely becomes an investment because it's then wholeheartedly owned by you, not the bank, very quickly. The ones in the no category said, notable laureate economist and Yale professor Robert Shiller makes a compelling case that real estate, particularly residential homes, is much inferior investment when compared to stocks. Now, he doesn't sit here and say, no, houses aren't a good investment. He's saying by comparing to stocks. I don't know about you, but I don't have time to go learn how to be a stockbroker. I don't know. I don't even know how to learn how to do houses most of the time for myself. I'm too busy working with you guys. So for me, I know that people are always going to need a place to live. Housing is never going to be something that goes away as far as a need, a basic need for people in this country, in this world. Also, last I checked, they're not making any more land. Land is not being produced and then created on floating barges in the middle of the sea, at least not that I'm aware of. Send me an article if you have something about that. But land is not a thing. It's finite. It's limited. There's no more land going to be created. So with no more land being created and housing continue to build, once we're out of space to build houses, we're going to have to build up, right? So at the end of the day, housing is always going to be there. Land is definitely going to end at some point. So then housing is going to continue to have to evolve, where things will have to be, money will be spent, things get more expensive. So again, he's only saying no. They're only saying no here based on the fact that it's by comparison to stocks. I would rather invest in something that I know I'm spending money on every single day, that I have to make sure that my family and my neighbors and anybody I meet has access to: food, water, shelter, and clothing, right? Those are kind of the main things. So for me, I think that anything that someone's going to always need is a good investment. When it comes to stocks, oh my God, I would love to learn stocks. I'm sure you guys would too. Who doesn't want to buy Tesla, when it's $1 and then make $1 billion from that, or Amazon, or any of the other big ones? I just don't know that it makes sense to say housing isn't a good investment by comparison to stocks, because not everybody has the time to go and learn, or even the brains to accomplish what people think they could do when it comes to stocks. And then the other comment that they made was, on the It Depends group, was, our biggest advice for first-time home buyers is not to look at this as a wealth building move. Not yet. This is where you're going to live. And we also say the same thing. When you're buying a home, unless it's an investment from day one or a second home, this is where you're going to live. This is it. It's a place where you and your family will build memories and things like that. And they're saying it's not something you can easily cash in on, because it's not. But that being said, it can lead to wealth building. And that's the critical element to consider. Location, where it's at, all those things. Those are things that will help you with when it comes to this. The other thing down here, as I scroll down, is net worth is in the same article. It's saying net worth is 40 times greater for homeowners than renters. 40 times greater. So I don't know about you, but for me, when I'm paying for somebody else to tell me, yes, I can paint a wall. No, I can't paint a wall. Yes, I can do this, that, or the other with the backyard, and that the house isn't mine. So doesn't make any sense to me. So for me, if you're paying rent, then you should absolutely be considering swapping out that rent payment for your house, for your mortgage, and then looking at strategies to pay them down quickly, or looking at strategies to cash out on what you've already put into the home as far as equity goes, and then rolling that into an investment property where you can actually start to build your wealth portfolio. I feel so smart talking about this. Look at me using big words like wealth portfolio. One of the other things that a lot of people say is, another lie, is that you need a large down payment in order to buy a house. And I just don't have the ability to save. I'm paying paycheck to paycheck, living paycheck to paycheck. And it's almost impossible for me to save even money to do anything else. The reality of the situation is that's not true. So many of you guys think that it takes 20% to buy a house. Wrong. Biggest lie out there. Biggest misconception. That's why mortgage insurance was invented. And that's why we now have programs like the FHA loan and even conventional loans that allow you to do 3 or 3.5% down. Guys, by the way, last year we introduced a program that is a 1% down program. Let me repeat that for you, for those who missed it in the back. 1% down. That means that it's a 3% program, but the lender, mortgage company, Amber's team, thank goodness, is going to pay the other 2% for you. How freaking awesome is that? That's free money. Again, free money. And then the other thing too is, yes, you do need a down payment, but we've got free money programs that can help you with that. So if you are living paycheck to paycheck, or you're on Social Security, or you don't think you can afford to buy a home just due to the lie that you need a large down payment, yes, you need a down payment, but you do not need a large one, number one. And secondly, beyond that, we can figure out a way to get you some help, hopefully, with that down payment. Grant programs are an amazing, beautiful thing, and we want to see more of you guys taking advantage of it. So that lie off the table. A lot of people always say renting is always cheaper. I covered this a little bit earlier, but I'm going to touch on it again. Right now, renting and buying a house, there's absolutely a bit of a differential due to the interest rates. However, if you buy a new home, and please don't go to a new home community without me. Please call me. I'll take you through. I'll show you how it works. And I'll make sure that we negotiate some really cool stuff. If you buy a new home, sometimes those new home builders are going to be able to buy your rate down, which means it will bring that payment more closely to what you might be paying if you were renting. When the rates do fall after you purchase your home and the rates do come down because the Fed has already said they're going to do it, this isn't me making it up. The Fed already said they're going to do it. When that does happen, you can refinance and get that payment down closer to what you want it to be, which is probably close to what rent is. Rent is at an all-time high in Las Vegas right now. And I'm sorry to say it's probably not going to go down anytime soon. We are in a really tough spot right now with limited inventory for rentals, limited inventory for homes. And we're in this crazy, crunchy, juicy spot that you could actually still take advantage of seller concessions. I had a client that I went into contract with yesterday, or was it yesterday? Yesterday, who got $10,000 from the seller. And it's a gorgeous house. There's nothing wrong with this house. This house is amazing, clean, newer, great neighborhood, great area. We were blowing our minds. It just shows that the sellers, if they're sitting there on a house, they're getting desperate and they want to make sure that they can get rid of this house. 10 grand. So that's going to buy down their rate. So their payment just shrunk. That's going to pay for their closing costs, which is a chunk of money. And we're looking at grants and stuff like that they can apply for as well. So you guys, you can stack this boat and or maybe we'll call it lasagna. You can stack the lasagna of free money and all the stuff and get that going for you. But rent is not always cheaper. Rent is on the rise. I don't see it getting any cheaper. And I don't think it's cheap right now. I think it's literally at the highest it's ever been in Las Vegas. Okay, guys. So those are the things that I had. I think, what did I give you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look at me exceeding expectations. I got you 7 lies that are probably preventing you from buying a house. This is, yes, a plea, a humble brag to let you know that I am one of the best in this city. I know what I'm doing. I plea for you to please call me. Click the link in the description, in the bio. I've got it pretty much everywhere. You can click it in the pinned comment, or you can just freaking text me on that phone number. It is my personal cell phone. I promise you that. Please don't send me anything naughty. I get those sometimes, and it's jarring, to say the least. But please reach out and let's talk about your situation. And then if you're in a place where you're ready to talk to Amber, let's do it. I'll connect you. And I wanted to just talk about that a little bit, because there's a reason that I have you guys come to me first. Couple reasons. A lot of times you guys are really afraid or fearful of being judged, and you don't want Amber to, you don't want anybody to see your numbers and then you to have to feel down or whatever, a way about it. So starting with me, I don't see your numbers. You can tell me what you want to, but I absolutely do not see any of the numbers that you share with Amber. That's confidential information, and that's her fiduciary duty to kind of protect that information on your behalf. So if you just want to call and kind of run stuff by me, happy to do that. But then when you're ready and we can, you can give me consent of, hey, let's talk to Amber. She's not going to hard sell you either. She's going to run numbers. She's going to look at your situation. She's going to ask a lot of questions. She might ask you to fill out some paperwork, but I'm telling you, that's the greatest moment ever is when you get over the hump and you go, I didn't think I could buy it. I talked to Lacey. She convinced me. Yes. Now I'm talking to Amber and she's now saying, boom, I just got approved to buy a house. I haven't even made my coffee yet. What's going on? Right. So the goal for me in doing these live streams and always bringing Amber on here as an expert is to remind you that we are non-judgmental. We've been through it ourselves. There is no story you can tell us that's going to scare us or turn us away. We want you to come with, hat in hand, ready to share information with us and be open. So just want to make sure that you guys know this is an open, warm environment. There's no need to be afraid. And I'm waiting for you to text me. So let's go. All right. Oh my goodness. You guys are so cute. I'm seeing all these questions. Thank you for keeping me company today. My sweet Amber is, she's not joining us, at least at this moment in time. So we're just going to run through this. Okay, guys, I'm going to run through some of these questions. John Harris. New Four Seasons residence is coming to Henderson. Do you have any inside information on this particular development? No, other than I know that they're going to be pricey. That's all I know. I'm actually going to be getting some more information on that in the next couple of weeks. So I'll put some info out once I know more. But great question, John. GTO, do you still work with Steve Carter? Steve Carter is one of my awesome best friends. He's amazing. I love that man. My team has shifted a little bit in the last couple of years. We moved to a new brokerage, and we've just kind of, like an amoeba, just kind of have shifted. Steve and I are no longer working on the same team, but I love him. I support him. He's an amazing agent. If anybody follows him or you don't follow him, please go follow him. He's on Battleborn Steve everywhere. He's awesome. He also has a YouTube channel. He does really good stuff. I'm not working with him on my team anymore. So if you want to work with me, call me. You're going to get me. If you want to work with Steve, tell him Lacey sent you. He's an amazing guy. All right, let's see. John's asking, if you buy something like this, which is the residences that he just mentioned, the Four Seasons residences, is there a home association fee or their home association fees, and then when I buy a condo. Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime you guys buy a condominium or most of the time a townhome, you're going to be paying an HOA. And if I can be very real with you, you're going to probably be paying an HOA if you buy a house as well. Las Vegas is about 85 to 89% HOA communities. But I don't want that to scare you. A lot of people coming from California are like, I won't live in an HOA. I can't do it. And I know that California has a lot of unfortunate experiences going on out there where the HOAs are just really gnarly to work with and they're not fun. It's not really like that here in Vegas. I've only heard one or two instances where people are upset with their HOA about something, but the HOA fees are very, very reasonable here in Las Vegas, anywhere from $12 a month up to $600 a month, depending on what you're buying and what community amenities you have and all of that. And then beyond that, I've never really heard anybody say that they're going to war with the HOA for anything, honestly, that stands out. So honestly, HOAs are great, but yeah, you're absolutely going to have an HOA if you have condo or if you have a townhome, and probably for most of the homes, especially the new homes here in Vegas. And PS, HOAs are good for you. They're good for the community. They keep everybody honest. They keep your neighbor from putting a toilet in their front yard. They keep you from your neighbor from painting their house puce or purple. Is puce purple? Is that green? Oops, I just bumped is puce purple or green? Someone tell me in the comments. But they keep things cohesive. They keep everybody nodding their head and agreeing that we're going to keep the value of our homes up by not allowing it to get trashed by people who are either renters or people who come in and don't have respect for the home ownership process. So very good thing to know. Okay, DLVTT, my sweet friend, hello. Can't wait to see you when you come back, hopefully this spring. What is the expectation for housing prices in the southwest part of the valley when Brightline's West High-Speed Rail project is coming? It's a really, really good question. Man, I think it needed government funding because I was even, they tried to hire me at one point for one of the iterations of that Brightline. It wasn't Brightline at the time, but one of the iterations of the projects who were trying to get funding for that. They wanted me to do their marketing, and I didn't think that thing was ever going to come to life, but I'm super excited that it's now funded by the government and there's some things moving forward on that front. I absolutely can see that this is going to do nothing but continue to elevate our prices and our value here in Vegas. I believe what's going to happen is if you have that Brightline thing set up, when that Brightline thing is set up and people realize that, and these are people who, I don't know, maybe they don't want to move out of California. Maybe they can't move out of, maybe their job keeps them there, that there will be people doing a lot more of the Brightline, buying houses here, setting up primary residence here to take advantage of the low property taxes, and then the no state income tax. But then if they have to pop in and out of town very quickly, it'll make it that much easier for them to go and do that and get work done or commute back and forth. So I definitely think it's going to elevate the prices for sure. And I don't think it's going to be just the southwest part of the valley. I really don't. I think it's going to be the entire city. I also think that it just brings value to the city in general. So definitely think that's going to do that. Matt Smith says, I do think we finally peaked on prices in most zip codes. From your mouth to God's ears, I'll tell you that. I really hope we've peaked. I don't foresee the prices skyrocketing right now, but I'm going to tell you guys, if we see the rates come down even the slightest, you will absolutely see those prices starting to go up. So I just went through those median home prices. I'm going to put them up here again so we're all on the same page. Thank you for that comment, Matt. Again, right now, not right now, but as of December, $465 is our median home price for new listings, and $449.9 is our median home price for the sold listings. Both of those are up 5% and 3% respectively, 6% and 3% respectively. When it comes to condos, we're at $270, which is up 9% for the ones that are sold. And we're on $289, which is up 7% for new listings, guys. So we may have peaked up to this point, but I don't believe we have peaked entirely. I do foresee our prices continuing to go up because, like I just showed you on that document, the inventory is down 38%, 39%, you guys, which means we have less homes to sell, more people still coming in. Those prices are still going up with the interest rates keeping people at bay. I'm telling you, hold on to your hair. We're about to go up in pricing. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Matt says, housing is a good investment if you're planning on holding. If you plan on selling it, say 7 years or less, it probably isn't a great investment. Matt, I normally would have agreed with that timeline that you just said. I've been doing this almost 8 years now. And I definitely, when we first started, and even when I bought my first home, which was, oh my God, like 20, 20 years ago, 20, oh my God, 18 years ago. Wow. I just realized how old I am. I guess I am old. My son just left for college, but I still think I'm a kid. When I bought my first home, I remember my realtor at the time saying to me, you are not going to get, it's not going to skyrocket. I know there's people on TV now with these TV shows several years ago that are flipping houses and making money. This is something that you'll get a very small increase over the years, but just know that if you hold it for a long time, you're going to be fine. But I'll tell you what, we've had people in the last few years be really smart and buy in these moments that we're in right now and be able to sell a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, and walk away with hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity because of the way the market's on the rise. So I definitely am a big believer in buy and hold. And that takes money out of my pocket, you guys. When I say that, it's me, that takes money out of my pocket by saying that to you. So that comes from the heart, because that means I'm not going to be the one that you sell the house with. So I would make money if I sold your house and if I sell you a house, right? So I'm not going to make money on that side of it, but it's because I believe so wholeheartedly in holding your investments and holding real estate close to you, because the whole point is that you pay it off and then you let that bad boy churn the revenue for you on a monthly basis while you're renting it out to someone who maybe is still in the renting pool. And with rent going up, that's going to be an easy thing to do. So I'm a big believer in holding. I don't think it's 7 years or less that it's not a good investment. I personally think, I'd say closer to 4 or 5 years, but even less if the market explodes like it did a couple years ago. But really good point. Thank you. All right. Richard DeToy. What about mature communities near new residential projects? Once the new projects are completed, do they tend to raise the prices of the surroundings for mature communities? I like the way you call them mature communities, Richard. Can't wait to talk to you, by the way. So glad that you emailed me the other day. I think that was you. Yeah, that was definitely you. I would say it goes up. So for instance, Durango Station Casino, I think is about 10 years overdue, but those station casinos, guys, I used to work for them. So I have a little bit of inside information. They definitely know what they're doing when it comes to investing in land in the city and when to strike when the iron is hot to build. The only slight mistake that they made, which nobody saw coming, which was when we opened Aliante Station. I was the head of marketing at Aliante Station when we opened, and it opened November of 2008, which was right in the middle of the horrible financial crisis that we went through. They were stuck. They had to keep it open, go through and open it. And it's now not a Station Casinos property anymore. So with that being said, for instance, Durango Station in the Southwest has been booming and growing for a really long time. And it's been one of the areas that I've been keeping an eye on. It is truly a foodie mecca down here, but there's still so much land to develop, like so much land that can be developed. Because of all that land that's available, they waited a while. They waited until there was enough population down in this area. I'm in this area now, so I'm saying this area, down in this area now, to be able to feed that casino and keep those people who are working there employed and keep the money coming in. And I'll tell you, now that it's gone in, I've got, I would say about 30% of the people who call me are now asking for Henderson, Summerlin, or that place down by the Durango Station Casino. Up until that place opened, nobody talked about the Southwest. Nobody, unless I said, hey, there's also this really great place that you should consider. It's foodie central. It's awesome. It's developing. It's going to be the new heart of Las Vegas. Mark my words. It will be one of the most popular areas. Mark my words, in the next 2 to 5 years. It's already starting to happen. So I've already gotten about 30 or 40 phone calls in the last 2 weeks from people who are talking about areas they want to move and things like that. And that at about 30% of you guys has started to come up. So to answer your question, I think that it elevates the prices and it keeps all the mature communities kind of growing along with the new communities and new developments, which is great. Tracy Johnson, what is the next area to be developed? For example, expanding into the Northwest side or the Southeast side? Really good question. So we talk about this a lot, actually, about what areas are kind of booming and growing. Southwest is booming and growing in a big, big way. So that's kind of the biggest right now. Northwest also, which is anything above the 215 freeway, over by Lone Mountain, Centennial Hills, up by Sky Canyon. Northwest and Southwest absolutely are our biggest growth areas right now. But I was just recently over in the Southeast area of town, in Henderson, over by Cadence. Hello, can I talk? Cadence. That went right through my nose. Cadence, which is a community that's similar to Inspirada, but it's a little bit more approachable for pricing. And it's on your way to Lake Las Vegas and Lake Mead. And I was very surprised to see how much expansion has happened out there and how deep they're going on the east side. So I personally think the southeast side and the east side in general are going to start developing as well. East side is an older area. I grew up on the east side. It's an area of town that doesn't get a lot of love, and there's not a lot of just not a lot of people talking about it because that's not where all the new fun, exciting things are happening. But there are some gem communities over there, and so awesome restaurants and some really cool stuff. And it's also like close to the freeway as well. So I think if you guys were going to keep an eye on any area, I would say North Las Vegas, Northwest, Southwest, Southeast over by Cadence is prime, ready to explode. And it's really approachable for pricing. I just got a client into contract 2 days ago on a brand new, adorable townhome that is, I think they're paying $338,000, and it is pristine, brand new. They're getting the model for that price. And it's adorable. And it's around all of this awesome, all the awesome amenities for Cadence. And it's just awesome in that area. It's beautiful. They've got new roads that are leading into there. It leads you right to the freeway, right to the mall. Lots of really cool stuff. Okay. Let's see here. Beach All Day Guy says, I've seen a lot of sellers making discounts on their homes. New builds are having awesome rates, but bring Lacey with you. There's a pocket-sized version of her. There is a pocket size. I am pocket-sized for sure. Yes. Please make sure you don't go to a new home community without me. Please, please, please do not go to a new home community without me. I won't be able to represent you. Nobody will. You are forfeiting your right to having representation. And if you were getting a divorce, you wouldn't want to get a divorce with the same lawyer that your spouse is using, right? Not unless you're like besties and you're just like, unwinding some weird relationship that evolved over time. The bottom line is you want to have your own representation, and the person who works at the builder works at the builder. And so they're not going to have your best interest at heart. They have fiduciary responsibilities. So I'm not saying they're going to make bad decisions, but they're definitely not going to be putting you first. So the bottom line and who pays their paycheck is likely going to come first. And that's the reality. So yeah, a lot of sellers are, it's really interesting to say a lot of sellers are bringing down prices and doing discounts, because the reality is we just saw this. I'm just going to put it up again. Why not? We just saw this bad boy, which says prices are actually on the rise and they're going up. So that's true, but not true. But I will say this. I will say that when you do see people you see on Zillow, right? Zillow or MLS, you're watching, price reduction. Oh, this guy's now offering $10,000 seller concession. A lot of times it has a few things are happening. Number one, not a lot of, I don't want to speak ill of other realtors in my industry, because I have a lot of respect. We've got some amazing real estate professionals in Las Vegas, and I'm grateful to have them as my comrades in arms. With that said, there's a lot of new realtors in town that don't have the proper experience to really know how to price a home when they're listing it. And that's sad, because a lot of times it forces the client to leave a lot of money on the table. So I've seen it happen quite a few times. One reason that you're seeing a lot of price reductions, or I don't even want to say a lot, that you're seeing price reductions at all, is that the listing agent's not advising their client properly. They're going off of a house that's not apples to apples comparison and saying, well, then if their house is worth that, then my house must be worth this. And the reality of the situation is they need a seasoned professional to be able to give them an actual comp. Let's say you have me as your seasoned professional, and you say to me, hey, I want you to sell my house. And we get into a spat about, I think it's worth this. And I say, well, I'm going to tell you, the market thinks it's worth this. That's a moment where we either need to come to an agreement, or I give in and say, we can have a strategy where we put it on the market, but we're going to look like a failing listing, because we're going to have to reduce and start making it look like we're desperate, which is going to then dig in more into your profit, because people, when they smell blood in the water, they negotiate hard. Or I'll say to you, I don't feel comfortable listing a house that high. My reputation is at stake as well. And I don't want you to lose money, and I don't want to stand here watching you do it. So there's a couple things that can happen with that. That's usually what it is. So it's either a delusional seller who thinks their house is worth more than it is, who doesn't want to trust or believe in what their realtor is telling them, or it's an unseasoned professional when it comes to the real estate side who's just not advising their client the right way. So that's typically what we're seeing right now. A lot of times there's also just personal circumstances, right? Could be someone's getting a divorce, someone's getting a job transfer, someone passed away. I mean, God forbid, there's a thousand things that could have happened. And also sometimes people just don't want to mess with it. You know what? I'm just let it go. I don't care. Just get it out of my life. So anyway, all that being said, work with a seasoned professional. This one, bring me with you to the new home communities. The last thing, I would say this, the last thing was, if you're located near a new home community, that is actually creating a little bit of a problem for some of the communities that are kind of already set, and they're trying to do a resale, and they're within a certain mile radius of competing new homes. Those new home builders are really buying down rates and making it very tempting. And so that's definitely causing people to have to reduce prices in those areas as well. So hope that answered your question. John Harris, he says, you're doing great, Lacey, Las Vegas gal. You only have 5 minutes until done. Prayers are going up for Amber, whatever her situation is. Oh, Amber's good. Amber's fine. Thank you for that very much, Richard, or John. Sorry, not Richard. I just saw Richard. Richard says puce is a dark purple brown. Okay, I thought it was green. Thank you for that. John, thank you for saying that. She's fine. Amber's cool. Just had a last minute thing come up and we had to make a shift and an adjustment, but I did miss her. And man, this is exhausting doing this by yourself. I'm almost going a full hour though. I think we should keep this going and write it out. Kelly Hallmark said she just finished filling out her paperwork. Round of applause. That's amazing, Kelly. So grateful we were able to chat yesterday. So excited for your journey. And can't wait to see what Amber says. Oh my goodness. Okay. DLVTT says, Bright Line timetable is expected opening for the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Woo, boy, that is going to do some things to this city. Wow, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. That means people will come and stay here, take the train over, and then come on back. I like that for our city. I like that a lot. All right, GTO. How much money do I need when relocating after buying a property? Oh, that's kind of a blanket question. So I'm assuming you're saying, so after you're buying a property, so you're wondering moving costs and maybe, setting up utilities and things like that. Gosh, that's going to really depend on how much stuff you're bringing. That's going to depend on a lot of things. I will say this, GTO, I am more than happy to run scenarios with you and give you my take. My phone number is right there on the bottom of the screen. Why don't you text me and we can set up a time to chat and I can give you some guidance on that. Don't care if you're ready to buy now, 10 years from now, I got you whenever you're ready. But I would say, I've seen a lot of people spend anywhere from $3,000 to ship cars and stuff all the way up to $20,000. I don't know. I'm pretty frugal when it comes to that stuff. So I like to find ways around that. If you are thinking about moving and you guys are thinking about hiring movers, please consider doing pods or doing the pods by U-Haul, something that you are in control of. I've seen not even every single client that I have served have problems with movers in that they try to hold your stuff hostage when they get here, claiming it weighed more than it did, and then demand money from you on the spot before they unload the truck. It happens. It's a total racket. Or nickel and dime you, or they take an extra week to get your stuff here because they're waiting for someone else to buy the truck so they can get the most out of the expense, or they'll make plans with you and then they'll change it, or they'll bring people who bang up your stuff and break your stuff. I mean, I've just seen the worst experiences ever. So please let me give you some advice on what to do. As far as costs go, I mean, it can be pretty expensive. It can be pretty cheap. I moved my daughter to New York City a year ago. I miss her so much. I wish she was watching. Hi, Savannah. She's not watching. She never watches, but, and we didn't take furniture. We didn't take her car, but just getting her butt out there and taking her stuff. I mean, I probably spent $600 because I'm smart. I did totes and I did Southwest Airlines. So you got 2 free bags and 2 free this, made sure they measured the right way. I think I spent $600 just to get her to New York City. And then we don't want to talk about how much I spent to furnish her apartment. So it just depends. If you're not bringing anything, it's still going to cost you, but maybe less. I don't know. Hope that answered your question. Good one. Good one. Do acquisitions and dispositions as an agent, or do you do acquisitions and dispositions as an agent, or do you specialize in just acquisitions? We do everything. Honestly, our team covers everything. We also do commercial. We do commercial real estate as well. So we do residential, we do commercial. We do not do property management. So that's the one thing that I don't want to offer as an agent, not interested in offering as an agent, and never will be. That's a hard business. Anybody who's in real estate and who does property management, give them a hug. If you know anybody doing that, give them a hug. It's a hard business that can harden you a little bit. But I do have people that I recommend to do that stuff. But we do both. We sell houses. We help people buy houses. We do new homes a lot. We do resale homes a lot. We do commercial leases. You name it, I got you guys covered. So reach out and let me know. Okay. Oh, partner punch. This is a good one. Am I just kidding myself thinking I can still move there? I mean, I would have to make over 110,000 to get approved for an average house. Panther punch or partner punch, Panther punch. Thank you for that comment. First of all, yes, you absolutely can still move here. I would love to chat with you about your situation. If you are watching this live, rewind us to the beginning because I talked a little bit about that, about affordability. We are absolutely still affordable. Condos, townhomes, houses are all over the price ranges. Yes, you can still afford it. Rent is on the all-time high, so that might not be the way you'd want to go. But with that being said, there are free money programs that can help you get into a house. And the other thing about what you would have to make to get approved for an average house, that's also something that's going to be up for discussion on a case by case basis, because it depends on the area of town, depends on how big of the house, all the things as to what you would consider average. The other thing I would say is, that's what you're thinking right now with the rates as they are right now. So if the rates start to slip down, or if you look at new home communities who are buying your rate down, they will absolutely give you more spending power or more savings in your monthly payment. So you absolutely Panther punch, not partner punch, Panther punch. You absolutely can still move here. And I would love to chat with you. My phone number is at the bottom. Text me, call me. Text is usually easier to get started, but let's talk about it. Matt Smith says, I love the views on the east side over by Hollywood Recreation Center. Me too. I grew up on the east side. It's a great area of town. There's some really, really cool houses over there, some cute little neighborhoods, a lot of mature landscaping, a lot of character. And it's coming to life over there. So if you guys are thinking about looking at Vegas, the east side is an eclectic vibe. You definitely would, I want to tour it before knowing if you want to live over there, but I love it. I love it. And Cadence is now on the east side, guys. It's reaching into the east side. It's partly Henderson, and I can see it now creeping down Boulder Highway down to Vegas. Oh my God, you guys with all these questions is amazing. Okay, look, I'm going on 50 minutes. Look at me without Amber. I don't know. I don't know that I want to like lean into this too much, but I'm super grateful for all the awesome questions you guys are giving me today. Let's welcome Amber back with a big round of applause when she does come next time. Okay, let's see. DLVTT, the new Inspirada Station Casino Resort is coming in Henderson. That area will explode for sure. Here's what I'm going to tell you about Inspirada. It's already exploded. It's already exploding. It has been completely exploding for about 8 years now. So yeah, that Inspirada Station Casino, if you guys want to get an Inspirada, you want to live in Henderson, you better get on it. Better get on it now. Panther Punch said, can I speak to affordability? As I just mentioned, I actually talked about that before, but I'm happy to talk about it again. There are free money programs out there, thousands of them, that Amber can actually help walk through with you and look at what you might be able to afford. Free money can help you with down payment. It can help you buy your rate down. It can help you with closing costs. There's also builders that are buying your rates down. There's builders that are going to pay your closing costs. So there's that. On affordability and things like that, when it relates to being able to afford the house, Amber's really, really good at helping you come up with a game plan. So she'll look at what your bills are, what you've got currently on the table. She'll look at free money programs to try to get you there, but she's going to be able to help you really run different scenarios. Just because you can qualify for 200,000 doesn't mean you have to spend 200,000, right? Just because you can qualify for $1 million doesn't mean you have to spend that. It's about your comfort with affordability. So if you only want your payment to be X because you want to spend the rest of your money on gaming or going out or enjoying your life here in Vegas, which I hope you do, then Amber can help you make sure that we throttle it and that you know what it looks like if you push your budget up or down based on that. It's hard for me to discuss affordability when it comes to like the income in the city and things like that. I do know that we are a very tip heavy city. We are very service industry oriented. I know there's a lot of really cool jobs that a lot of people don't even talk about. And I also know that there's new industries moving here every day, all the time. I had a client that I was driving around with. I took them on a city tour the other day to just make sure that they understood that Vegas was a possibility, and they'd never left the Strip, which happens a lot. And in the process of driving them around, I kept hearing like these big sighs of, oh my God, like moments of excitement. And I, there was a point where we finally rounded a corner, and the husband took a deep breath and he said, oh my God, I feel so much better now knowing A, what it feels like off the Strip, and that this is a cool vibe and amazing. B, how much there is still to be developed and how much, the city's going to grow. But just all these prices and stuff that you're mentioning, Lacey, like, and all these good deals and free money and all this stuff, boom, it's blowing my mind. So they're moving from a place where they didn't think they could afford a house either. They told me very much up front, we're going to come to Vegas for a vacation. We do it once a year or several times a year, but we don't think we can afford to live there. And I think they've now rethought that, and they've looked at the numbers, and they're going to talk to Amber. So that's the best I can do. I'm not an expert on income and things like that, but I'm just letting you know that like, there's a lot of opportunity for you. And I don't want you to close the door because those are lies, and we're not telling ourselves any lies. Let's see. Last one, take it easy, says, watched your videos about the Elysian properties. I'm leasing at the district for over 2 years now, and I love it. Awesome. I love that you brought up my Elysian living videos. I love Elysian living. So quick story for you guys. In real estate in most cities, especially larger cities, you really don't, realtors don't they don't really care if you're a buyer or a seller. I mean, they obviously want you to be a buyer, but when you're doing rentals like New York City, LA, things like that, they get paid a lot of money to do those. They get paid like whatever your first month's rent is. A lot of times that's what the payment goes to for their time, the realtor. It is not like that in Las Vegas. So you guys know, because there's a lot of people that call me, why won't any realtors get back to me to help me with my rental? And there's even been times where I've had to say no to rentals because my time spent is not, it just doesn't pencil for my time and for my time best spent. Same with my team. When you rent a home to somebody, or when I'm an agent and I represent you to rent a home to you here in Vegas, the maximum amount of money that you're probably going to make from renting a house, $200, $300, $400 max. Sometimes they'll give a little bonus cherry on there, but it's not that much money by comparison to if you were to buy a home. So if you're having trouble getting in touch with agents to help you find a rental home, that's probably why. They don't like taking rentals because they don't think it's worth their time or whatever. And the other thing is, it's not even that it's not $200, $300, $400, $500 isn't worth someone's time, but the amount of time spent and driving around and gas and phone calls is equal to the amount of time spent when you're going to be selling a house to somebody. So you go from getting 1.5%, 2.5%, 3.5%, whatever the percentage is of the sales price, which is a nice chunk of money, versus $200, $300, $400 that probably won't even cover your gas for driving people around. That's why realtors don't really do that. So we also don't really work with apartments. Apartments don't really need our help. They've got inventory, they've got advertisements. They don't really need our help. So a lot of times people get super frustrated with the process. So what I've done is I'm helping as many renters as we can. It's tough. Depending on your situation, we have to look at you case by case, but we're doing what we can to keep that offering because we want to make sure that you guys land here softly and that we can sell you a house whenever it's time. But for people who want to do apartments, which I highly recommend for your first year in this city, I do not recommend renting a house. I just don't. It's more expensive and you're going to find yourself trying to beat out several thousand other people typically from an apartment's or from a applications perspective. So I highly recommend you look at apartments, but I don't want you to go looking at them without me. The reason is I've developed an amazing relationship with Elysian Living. They have amazing communities in multiple locations around town, some of the best community sections of town. Man, they're good. Their developers are really good for investment in terms of buying land. Whew, they did good. Summerlin, Henderson, Southwest times 3 or 4, one downtown, one over by the Palms, one over in the Northwest, and they're even exploding further. So with that being said, for them, if you are thinking about renting when you come to Vegas, please call me anyway. Let's talk. I am absolutely going to try to talk you into renting an Elysian apartment. They give you guys a concierge service to work directly with, if you come through me, to work with one person so that you're not trying to call all these apartments and see what's the deal. They have a lot of really great move-in specials that they give to my clients. And they really like working with my people because I do events at their communities. And I go and meet people who are renting and try to get them to buy. And I get to do fun stuff. So then when I go, it's like a party. I show up and people who are living there are already clients of mine that were going to buy a house within XYZ years. And it just becomes a better community experience. The other thing I really like about them is that they do community events. They understand how hard it is to create a community for yourself here in Vegas, and they lean into it wholeheartedly to help you guys build that community around you. So if you're thinking about renting, please call me. I'm going to definitely ask you to consider an apartment because I don't want you to get stuck. I also don't want you to have to move more than a couple of times. Apartments are way more flexible. The Elysian amenities are chef's kiss, amazing. And they've set up a really cool thing for my clients. So I would love to just give you guys that opportunity. So thank you very much. Oh my goodness. Okay. One more. Do you have to be, okay. I think we're good to go. If I missed, I think I got most of the questions. There's a couple that I don't know the answer to. Actually, one of them is this one. John Harris says, do you have to pay taxes on those grants? I don't know the answer to that question. So let's bring that up next time we have a live stream with Amber Coleman present, one of the top 200 lenders in the nation. I only work with the best because I'm the best. And I want to make sure you guys get the best on both sides. But yeah, let's put that on our next live stream. Great question, John. Thank you for asking it. I want to thank you guys. You hung in here with me, man. I'm at almost an hour by myself. I guess I can stand on my own sometimes. I love it. Super grateful, super happy to be here with you guys. This was super fun. And, once again, don't let the lies convince you that you cannot buy a house. Do not let anything convince you that you cannot buy a house or prevent you from buying a house. Call me, call Amber. Let's talk. Let's see if we can work you through it. There's no reason why you shouldn't at least have a conversation. If you can't buy, you can't buy. But I'm pretty sure we can find a way. Super grateful for you guys. Thanks for loving my neon hometown as much as I do. I love this city more than anything. I bleed neon. That's what I tell people. If you cut my arm open, neon blood. It's how much I love this city. And so if you're thinking about moving here, I want to know about it. I want to be the one that gets you from where you are to where you want to be, which is right here in my neon hometown. Click the link in the description, the pinned comment, subscribe. Share my stuff with people, guys. Help me grow. Let's make me an influencer or something. I don't know. That way I can do really cool stuff when we go out and look at houses, and I can buy you really good housing gifts. I'm just kidding. But definitely thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing. I'll talk to you soon. I'm exhausted. I got to go get some water, but this was a fun hour. Oh my God, we made it.